Hey everybody, and welcome to the Tatter-a-Fact podcast, where PMU gets raw, real, and unapologetic. I'm Teryn Darling with Girlz Ink, your no bullshit mentor, and I have a no bullshit guest today who I'm really excited about. And I have 25 years in the game, and she has quite a few herself. So let's raise the bar and let's keep it there. So my guest today, she really does not need an introduction. She's been one of my favorite artists that I've been following for a long time. We didn't meet until recently. We met in London, and then we just saw each other again at PMU World Live. And meeting her both times, it felt like we had known each other for years. She's mega talented. She has her own lip line, Pigments, with permablend, color theory classes that everybody should be taking. And she's on the biggest stages around the world, preaching. And I'm really super excited to have her here today. I practiced her last name. I think everybody just knows. I mean, like, Cher. You don't even need to say her last name. I think Carla is the same way. If you just say Carla, you know who we're talking about. We're talking about Carla Ricciardone. 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 I knew I was going to fuck it up on the spot. But Carla, you could just toss your last name. I think everybody knows.
Yeah, I'm just going to cut it off.
Just cut it off because none of us can pronounce it. Yeah.
Carla.
I know. And I do. And when I talk about you a lot, because, when I'm teaching, when I'm lecturing, when I'm having conversations with artists, I have a handful of artists that I mention and I use as examples and I bring up because you are setting the standard very, very high, and you tell it like it is. And I want them to go take your courses, and you're one of them. And I always just say color from Sculpted, and that that you're just super honest, super real, and you're in it for all the right reasons. So I guess my first question, you keep it so real, right? Maybe I keep it real, but I still have that little part of me that is still a little cautious because I have that little seed of fear of pissing off a whole big group of people. So I'm careful how I word things. I'm wondering first, welcome. I haven't even let you say anything yet, but I will in a second. Do you worry about that? Being so honest and outspoken, telling people what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. Do you worry about that?
Not at all. Not one bit.
Not one bit.
Not even in the least little bit. And I'll explain it. So I have this rule that I live by that means a lot to me. I say what I mean and I mean what I say. And it not only does it protect my integrity and my authenticity, it's my boundary. And I am careful to not be dismissive with it, but I don't sugarcoat it in any way. I feel that the truth, no matter what it is a healthier option, because I'm always open for discussion, debate, clarification. I can back up what I'm saying, whether that's with data or science or research. Like I'm not just saying to say. And I think that that's why I don't worry about it. Like, do I make people upset? Sure. Am I everybody's cup of tea? No, absolutely not. And I'm okay with that. Like, your vibe attracts your tribe. And I don't want to attract the wrong people. When you are, and you've been in this industry for 25 years, been in this industry for 12. It's like a drop in the bucket. So when you are a figurehead, when you do have the stage to stand on or the platform to speak from, those boundaries, that authentic boundary protects you from the riffraff and the negativity. Like I'm not going to go down in the trenches, like, but I'm going to say my piece, and I don't have any problems with it. I am unapologetically my authentic self.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, like, I don't know, go. It's fine. There's more people over here that want your space. So you can leave. It's fine. And maybe you come back and have a conversation about what it is about my honesty that's offending you, or you've got a question, or maybe you think of it differently, but it doesn't make what I'm saying any less valid or true because it's coming from an honest place. I don't have to hurt people with it. Like I'm not finding the thing that's going to hurt somebody that I'm being honest with, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to have an overall opinion about something, and I'm entitled to mine. You know, opinions are like apples. Everybody's got one.
Yeah, yeah. You know, everybody is entitled to their opinion. I've always stuck to my opinions. You know, my philosophies and my beliefs. They have certainly evolved over the years, but my core values and beliefs have not. You know, in the way I work, the way I think, the way I teach, the way I speak to the industry has not. I'm certainly not everybody's cup of tea. I guess I try not to come across as like what you said, definitively.
Not mean.
Yeah,
right.
mean, abrasive, know-it-all, definitively, because we talked a little bit earlier, is there's many different ways to end up at the same beautiful result. So I'm very careful not to be definitive in the needles you choose or the techniques. Yeah. Although I have my certain beliefs on certain skin types, certain needles are going to be a more efficient choice, a better choice, possibly. Where,
safer potentially.
Yeah. So I always try to say tend to, potentially, could be. Because there's always that artist who has mastered smaller needles and getting great healed results in a timely manner on oily, bleeding, challenging skin, you know, where most have not.
Always and never are dangerous words.
Yeah.
Like there's always room. You know, we were talking about some other things before where people said, never do this. And, you know, those are the dangerous. Like I touch really well with a single needle. I always have. Like it just, whether that's what I was taught on, but you start to throw like big configurations at me, like I'm talking like big max, like, you know, 15 plus. Like I get this off. And, you know, it's just because it's an unfamiliar tool. It doesn't make it wrong to use it by any means. But understanding why you're doing something, I think that that's the pedestal I've really stood on. And I think that's where my honesty stems from. I want people to know why they're choosing what they're choosing, and the why isn't because my teacher said so. That's like your mother saying, don't do this, and you just don't do it because she said so. Like I'm 46, I still don't listen to that. So it's like, if you're just blindly following the steps, you're a sheeple. And you don't want to be a sheeple. You want to be an artist.
Yeah.
And if you're an artist, you have to understand your paintbrushes. You have to understand your equipment. You have to understand your tools, which include pigments, needles, machines, your hands, your eyeballs, for Pete's sake. And if you're not willing to understand why things look the way they do, feel the way they do, act the way they do what they do, you're always going to be up against the what needle did you use? What speed are you using? What pigment do you use? You're asking the wrong questions. Ask why I'm using those things, not what.
Yeah.
Because the what's not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to help you evolve. And I think that that's why my honesty is so well received. It's not, and it wasn't always, and it isn't always, but it is well received in some directions, because I think that that's what I'm trying to encourage people to do, to be better for themselves. So they're not so reliant on the teeth of whatever came before them.
Yeah. My honesty is not always well received. I had someone last year she just flat out, like on my Instagram account, said, I don't like you. I don't know why. I just don't like you. And I just wrote back, I'm like, well, that's okay. You know, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And what was so funny is a couple months ago, and I didn't block her or kick her off. She didn't say anything mean, just, I don't know what it is about you, but I just don't like you. And I was like, what the fuck, you know? And you are human. It bothered me a little bit. I'm not going to say like, I didn't like, ouch, you know? I'm like, what is a cat? Like, but we're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. You know, I've always known that. But a couple months ago, the same person, on one of my posts, she goes, I don't know if you remember me, but like a while back, I told you that I didn't like you and I didn't know why. She goes, but I've grown to really love you. She goes, I don't know why I didn't like you back then. I think it was just the way you talked. I don't know, but I've been watching you and I've just grown to really admire you. And so I want to apologize for that. I hope I didn't hurt your feelings. And then I ended up leaving her a DM voice message, and we voicemailed back and forth a little bit. And that was really interesting. But we're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, especially when you collab with someone and you have to, you know, protect your brand, protect the product, and, you know, they don't like some of the decisions you make. You know, I mean, they can go out on the attack and not like you. But let me tell people.
Better or worse?
Oh, they're the worst. Well, it's emotional.
Well, for better or worse, we're in a woman-led industry, and women tend to lead emotionally.
Yes.
And it has its positives and it has its negatives. You know, like there's the whole, we're, you know, community over guess what? We're all in competition with each other. So let's put our business hats on. That's not how this works. And yeah, you know, you want to be careful about the person, and you know, it's all this mothering and nurturing and coddling going on. It's a very female-driven business, and business isn't really female. It's more masculine, and there's a lot of that. And you know, people get their feelings hurt, and you know, I'll be like, I don't know, what are your feelings hurt for? It's not personal. It's business. Like, take the gun, leave the canola, and speak to canola, leave the gun, however that goes. But there's a lot of that. And I think that those of us who kind of rise above it a little bit give off a little bit more of a masculine energy than a feminine.
Okay.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
So let's go into, that was a good segue. I wasn't going to talk about this till later, but that's a good segue in separating yourself from the drama. Right? Because there is a lot of drama in this industry. And probably because, like you said, it's female dominated, but there's certainly drama amongst men, you know, when there's, you know, large groups of men in the industry, for sure.
I think it's just a little different. Their drama's a little different.
Little bit different. But so I think for 25 years, being a recognizable name, that's how I like to put it, I've done pretty darn well keeping myself out of the drama. But every now and then you do get dragged into it. And yeah, but for me, Carla, even recently I was dragged into a little bit of drama. I mean, I didn't respond because I don't think everything deserves a response. But the handfuls of times over the last 25 years I've been pulled into drama, it was almost always either their expectations were way too high beyond what I could meet, and I didn't realize that. They just placed their expectations on me were unrealistic, and I didn't meet them. They ended up focusing on not everything that I did help them with and I did do, but rather focused on the one thing I didn't do or didn't do to their expectations. That's one reason. Or I said no. I said no to something, you know, which pissed them off. It's never, ever, ever because of something unethical that I did, immoral that I did, lying, stealing, none of that.
None of that.
None of that. 100%. None of that. It's just always been, I disappointed them somehow, or I said no to something.
Or they disappointed in themselves and the reflection is projected on you.
Yeah.
A lot of times people are projecting, or they were dishonest, or they stole, or they did something unethical.
Yeah.
And it's sitting so uncomfortably with them that they're now projecting that onto you.
Yeah.
Or you're targeted with that. And that's what I get, or what I've received a lot of, or like the drama that I've been involved in. It had nothing to do with it, but it's the unethical behavior that has gotten them into trouble, and me sitting and waiting and being patient for that to really show itself just fed and fueled that aggravation and that negative motivation until it now is documentable. And then they don't like the fact that I'm like, here's this document and here's what you did, and I'm not going to take it.
Yeah.
So I think that's, I'm assuming this is where you're headed. That's kind of how I stay out of it. I stay out of it because I don't get into it.
Right.
I'm not here to do that. Like my core principles, right? My entire purpose is to put food on my table.
Right.
And anything that doesn't participate in that doesn't belong at my table. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm not going to play checkers with you. Like, there's no point. Like, if you want to have that argument, go have it all over there by yourself, and that's fine. But I'm not going to play. I'm going to sit here and pay attention, because I'm not going to, just turn a blind eye to it, and I'll pay attention. But, it's the other one. Never interrupt your enemies while they're busy destroying themselves.
Yeah, and there's I love that. I love that saying. And another saying that I love is you never, and I think people should really follow this advice. Really listen to this. What I'm about to say is, you never, ever, ever look good trying to make someone look bad. Never. You will never look good trying to make someone look bad.
And the other thing is, you're never going to make yourself look better trying to fight them off. All you do is bring attention to the negative thing.
That's 100% correct. And I'm like you. Yes, I'm like you. I watch, I document. I got so many, I think what's probably where you and I are pretty blessed is most of the industry, I think, likes me, likes you, right? We're likable people. We're very giving and generous to the industry. I feel very blessed that I have a wonderful relationship with the industry as a whole, and with most people. There's always going to be those handful, those few people that, for whatever reason, but I never engage publicly. I always have to remind myself, not everything deserves a response. But I'm like you, I watch, because people notify me of stuff when it does happen. I get notified all day long. Things are documented. But what's funny is then they'll go back and they'll edit. And then they make it like less, their claims against you become less because they weren't true in the first place. And then you screen, you document that. And then they'll even go back a third time and soften it even more. And that's, do they not know this is all being documented? And, I'm like you, I document and I wait, and I have a legal team as well. And if need be, I will.
Exactly. Like, I'm going to let somebody else
unleash them. Like, yes.
Here's my stuff, and I'm done. Like, I'm not going to sit there and play in the dirt. Like, I don't know. It's just not worth it. I've got other things to do.
No.
I've better things to do. I think I don't want to participate.
No, and you're smart not to. And, and that's why I never really got involved with a clique. I've always felt I've been, not like a loner for sure, because I'm super social and I like a lot of people, but I was always careful not to get involved like in a clique and get heavy in a clique, and I think that's probably helped me. But what would your advice be? Because I do see a lot of drama And sometimes I think it's just because you got a target in your back. I think sometimes a lot of the drama, sometimes it is legit. Like someone stole someone's, work, or, there was unethical behavior involved. But I think most of the time it stems from jealousy. A lot of the time, just jealousy. So what would be your advice to artists that are up and coming, like the rising stars, I call them? You can see they're on that path to being a recognizable name in this industry, and they're going to do big things. What's your advice to an artist like that to avoid the drama, stay out of the drama?
Exactly. I mean, that is kind of advice. Like, you don't need to participate in that. Your work got you here, not the drama. So if your work is speaking louder, that's what you want. You never want your attitude towards somebody else and their work or what they're doing to be the thing that defines you. You don't want your arguments to be what defines you. And you certainly don't want your negative behavior to soil your rise. Stars can fall. So, that's not what you want, right? You want to continue to keep rising. Just stay away from it. Like, there's just no reason for it. Your social platforms and your way to put yourself out to clients and put yourself out to other artists are these media platforms. And don't forget that they're watching. That client may not have booked today, but they're watching. I have clients who've watched me for years before they book.
Yes.
So it'll be that time I get on Instagram making fun of my clients. Don't do that. That turn them away. Or making fun of another artist or their work or something that they did, or, even the post where they're stealing my work. Like, I don't put people on blast. Like, I just contact that person directly, tell them that's unethical, tell them please stop doing that, get down. If it's not down, they'll hear from my lawyer in the morning. So you don't need to air your dirty laundry. I mean, I know you and I are around the same age. Like, we didn't do that. Like, roll down your sleeves. Like, people don't need to know that stuff about you. And it's okay. Like, that's not being authentic. Like, there's my private life and there's what happens. And that drama, I kind of feel like goes in the private life.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are people who come after me, for whatever their reasons are, whether that's jealousy, I don't know,
ego. A lot of times it's back to egos and insecurities, and right.
But that can stay there. Yeah, and it can stay there. Like, I'm gonna leave it alone. Like, I'm not gonna touch it. It's like one of those cactuses you guys have out west, the grenade ones. Like, don't touch it.
Yeah, and especially if they're
cute little barbs at you.
Most people don't want to work with a hothead, someone that has emotional outbursts and meltdowns online publicly that attack people. Most people don't want to work with someone like that. Those are all signs of low emotional IQ. And it's very telling.
Arrested development.
Yes, and some people go through life as a victim. They see themselves as a victim. They look through, the lens of a victim. And I can spot them a mile away.
A mile away. Stay away from people like that.
Yeah. And for a little while, I was attracting people like that. So, I started therapy. I got a therapist now. And, because I wanted to learn, why am I attracting people that have these,
Well, you're in an industry where you are sitting at the mentor level. And when you're at a mentor level, the boundary is the take boundary is very, very low. So you've got all these people that know something. And they're all coming to get it. The thing that they don't realize is because you know a thing doesn't mean you owe it to them to tell them.
Right.
And that differential, the minute you put that boundary in play and you say, listen, like, I don't know, the DM, this is my client, what color do I use? I have your pigments. I know you and I get both of that all the time. And I'm like, listen, I'm not there. I'm not in front of them. I can't teach you in a caption. And the minute I put that boundary down and I say, okay, here's my color theory class or whatever it is that might help you do better for yourself, you get two actions. One is like, thank you so much for pointing me in the right direction, and I completely understand what you're saying. And the other one is that low emotional IQ. That feels like somehow you have hurt them.
Yeah.
By telling them the truth that I know this, yes, but I don't owe it to you. That's my intellectual property. Again, go back to that's what puts food on my child's table. You have to respect that. And the minute you say no to that, it's that everybody got a first place trophy problem. And they out comes the angry and the jealous, and she's a gatekeeper. I hate that word. She's a gatekeeper. Not a gatekeeper. Actually, you know what? I am a gatekeeper, and I have padlocks across the whole damn thing because that's what makes me money. And if you want to learn that from me, pay for the key.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you don't understand any of that, I'm not being greedy or selfish, or I get plenty, and so do you. But I'm not going to give you and then they DM me with the question mark, with the question mark, with the question mark.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that. Yeah, like if you don't respond immediately or in a day or so, and they respond with just a question mark. And for me, it's very offensive and it's very insulting. And once I get a question mark, I will never answer you. I'm busy running a company, distributorships, products. There's so much to the work that
your
podcast.
Family, your happiness, your health, all of it.
Yes,
all of it matters.
Yeah, all of it matters.
I had a girl in one of my community groups for class. I answer that community group Monday through Friday, throughout the 9 to 5. It was a Sunday, and she put it up. It was up for 57 minutes because I chat, and it ended up being screenshotted, put in my Facebook messages, put in my Instagram messages, emailed to me, and then she put it up on a Facebook group trying to tell everybody that it was a horrible educator because I hadn't responded.
Oh my gosh.
57 minutes it was up on a Sunday.
Yeah. Well, that's what we expose ourselves to. That's what you expose yourself to when you decide to put yourself out there and be an educator, be this, be that, help the industry. You expose yourself. I've been exposed for a long time. I started getting exposed about my 5th year. So the last 20 years I've been, I wouldn't say highly exposed, because those first few years where I had a name for myself, it was just here in the United States, because there was no really internet or Facebook.
There was no internet.
Social media. Right. And and I loved it. It was healthier. It was healthy.
I agree.
But then when social media opened up and the world connected and you become more recognizable to more people all over the world, then, wow. Do you know, I've had so many moments, Carla, where it's not the craft itself, it's people have made me want to, go away. Like not do anything anymore except, get off social media, stop doing all that, stop educating, and just be with my team.
It's a glimpse. And that's what people don't see. They think that somehow, not only is this your whole life, but they have forged literal relationships with people that they've never met, come in contact with. They also have genuine dislike and drama with others that they've never met or ever spent time with or known past. The sentence, like it's a sentence. If you don't pepper it with flowers and I don't know, other types of emojis, somehow you have personally offended them.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just didn't decorate it? You needed me to decorate it? So that drama, it just exists because the social exists.
Yeah.
In this weird little, I don't know, device that lives on our countertop that drives us all insane. So if you want to stay out of it, remember that has an off switch, and like let it be the off switch. I go on to put up a post, answer a couple of DMs in the morning, and that's it. I don't look at it after that. I don't doom scroll. I don't go into groups. Like, I protect my sanity and my health that way, because otherwise it'll consume you.
Yeah.
The more you know, the harder those places are to do.
No,
because
I understand.
there's just so much misinformation and so much drama and so much he said, she said, that it's like, I don't know, it's like the camp playground, and I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, no, the smartest thing I ever did was stop scrolling. That was probably like 3 years ago. I'll just look to see if my name is, if someone mentions me.
Mention me.
And I'll go directly there, and usually it's a question or something. And I do have to say, you know, I am very, very blessed. I get along with 99% of the people that I come in contact with that ask me questions. And it's just that 1%. I'm lucky that way. But the 1% seems to be, the loudest.
Well, you're in that. We only have that 1% because you don't participate in it the other way.
Yeah.
And you certainly don't bring it on anybody.
Yeah.
And I think that people who are dramatic and put drama on others tend to attract more drama. So their whole life is consumed by that.
Agreed.
And but that 1%, I mean, it's no joke. It's no joke. I mean, I have put up with some real ugly stuff, and it's a lot. I spent an entire conference held up in my hotel room because I wouldn't go downstairs to the floor because it was so bad with a particular individual. Like, I'm going to remove myself because if I remove myself, it's very unhealthy for me. And I don't really spend the next 6 months trying to take off all this bad juju. Yeah. So I did. I got room service and called it a day.
Hang on. Is my...
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I just wanted to make sure my computer was plugged in. And it's sad. That's sad. That I know. I did that one of our podcasts. I looked at Olivia and went, oh my God, my battery's got like less than 1 bar. Yeah, no, it's really sad. It's really sad that it comes to that. I've had to deal with some heavy shit myself, people attacking me. And like I said, and it's really for nothing unethical, nothing. It's just, I simply didn't meet their high expectations, or I said no to something because it didn't meet my standard, or something like stupid like that, Carla. I mean, in my opinion.
Mine comes from opportunity that they thought that they deserved that I ended up with.
Oh, I've had that. Yes, I've had that too. Well, and that's just jealousy and ego. But can I, so I wanted to say something like about you to you. So I probably first know, I was thinking like, when did I first like put eyeballs on Carla and like notice her? And I think it was the dark lips. Like when you started doing dark lips. And I taught lips for a long time, hands-on. I use a big 11 mag, and I taught like full saturation lips. And if they wanted a tint, still a big 11 mag, just dilute your pigment way, 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 way down, and you'll get a softer look. We didn't call it tints and blushes back then. Those terms are fairly new. But I did always teach, and I was definitive on this. Don't tattoo dark lips. Black lips, don't tattoo them. Any ethnic person that has dark lips, don't tattoo them, right? And because that's what I was taught. And everybody believed that. And why wouldn't we? We tend to believe our trusted mentors. And the mentors teaching this, in my opinion, 2 of them, very respected, well-respected women. Do you know? One of the women, I actually went to one of her seminars, and she did a whole 2 hours on lips. And the last part of her PowerPoint and lecture was showing aged results of her lips, dark lips. And it was horrifying. And I was so enthralled and just so, I respected her so much for showing her aged results that were very unattractive, like aging that went bad. She really put herself out there to show what happens when you tattoo dark lips. And I'm like, wow, geez, yeah, I totally get it. And then you come along. I don't know if you're the first person to tattoo lips, dark lips. I'm not making that claim. I don't know if you know that, but
I don't even know it. I mean, Cleopatra had her lips tattooed in 76 BC, so I'm going to go with that.
Okay, so then you might be the second person, the second person. For me personally, I'm speaking for me personally, you're the first person I came across tattooing dark lips. And I'm seeing your healed results, like 3-4 months healed results. And of course I'm getting all these screenshots because I had taught so many people, don't tattoo dark lips, right? So, so here I am. I'm like, oh my God, I was so definitive on this. Here's this girl, Carla, who, I mean, she got like big balls coming out and tattooing lips. And these fresh, these healed results, they're still pretty fresh, but they look amazing. And I just end up telling people, you know what? There's artists that come out every generation that break glass ceilings, that prove the earlier standards and philosophies, not necessarily wrong, but we can. And you were one of those people that I never responded, oh my God, she's going to fuck them up. Don't do that. They should. I was never that. I was like, well, I'm still not going to tattoo them. And I would like to see her lips a year, 2 years out. When we're testing brow pigments, LI, we don't launch anything until we're seeing 1 year, sometimes even 2 year healed results. So then I start seeing your results a year, 2. I'm like, wow. And so that's where I really started noticing you and really paying attention to you. And what I liked most about you, not just that, of course, your skill, like, thrilled me. Any artist that is skilled like you excites me, thrills me, catches my attention. I want to learn from you. But what I really liked about you was how honest and how candid and transparent you were about tattooing dark lips. You were also out there saying, there's risk to this, even for me. Shit can go wrong, even for me. You have to educate your client. You can end up with post-traumatic hyperpigmentation. Do we know how long it will last? No. In most cases, it's temporary and goes away rather quickly. There could be some cases where it lasts longer. This is where educating the client is important. You preach training. You can't just start out tattooing dark lips. You got to start tattooing lips with no color or minimal color to learn lips in the first place, because lips that have no color, would you agree, are difficult?
Very. I think it's the hardest area. I think it's the hardest surface on the body to tattoo.
Yeah, I think you could have sold a lot more classes. I think you could have made a lot more money if you had sold it like so many trainers sell their signature style or PMU in general. Just come learn from me, really easy. You'll start. You were not out there selling anything. You were just out there showing it can be done. However, this, that, and the other. And so for me, you are the dark lip queen. You are. For me, you are. And
I need a lot coming from you. You were the first phone call when I was in this industry. I'll never forget it. I needed supplies and I ordered from Girlz Ink, and I remember like being really confused. And I was like, what do I need? What do I use? And you were like, well, what did you learn on? And I was like, this. And you were like, okay, this, and this, we'll put it in a box for you. And that was it. Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Here we are, all these years later.
These years
almost 12 years later. Which is like,
first impression's everything, right? Sir, I feel. So the first time you talk to somebody or meet somebody, and I think that goes a long way. And no one at Girlz Ink has ever been trying to fill someone's shopping cart. Like, we're just trying to help you purchase what you need for the type of clients you work on, your demographic, what you do, this, that, and the other. Yeah. So I love that about you. And that's, and I have a lot of respect for you. So I would just love for you to elaborate a little bit on where did the courage come from to do that first dark lip? I mean, did you know that the industry doesn't tattoo and that dark lips and that's what's being taught and all these bad things could happen?
So I knew that it was something that nobody did. I didn't really know why. What do they say? Ignorance is kind of bliss. But it was out of necessity. My clients were like this, and lips had just kind of made the transition. I've been doing this on my own, like lipblush.com and lipneutralization.com, but because it was going from like the tattoo styled lip liner or the heavy saturation with big configurations that was coming like from needle on the bar. Like my first machine was a needle on the bar with like a little slim handle or, put this whole contraption together. So we were just starting to migrate into like that softer coverage, more, we called it aquarelle lips, right? Lip blush literally translates to watercolor, right?
Right.
So it was just starting to make that transition. And all of my brow clients, because I was on the rock, I was at the beginning of the microblading boom. Like I was there before it even boomed. It was before lash extensions were even a thing yet.
Yeah.
So this whole thing was about the crest, right? It hadn't happened yet. Like fee didn't exist yet. Like none of this like MLM schemed learning, like none of that existed. But I had this book of clients that were getting their brows done with me. And I was like, wow, I really like the way this looks. Like to add a little color to your lip and a little definition. But a lot of my clients were ethnic. From anywhere from Hispanic to African American and, everything in between. Like my family's even mixed. My daughter's dad's African American. So it's like I have a lot of that kind of going into it. And it was like, all right, well, this doesn't look like this. And it doesn't look like I can do the steps that somebody gave me in a manual that was 3 pages long, literally. That was like, tattoo from the vermilion border to the water line, do that 4 times, move 50%. Right. I mean, you know the drill. And I was like, okay, there's no way that this information is sufficient for me to do this because what I have as the canvas is already different. And I had to think about it. And I had to say to my girlfriend Amal, she was the first one on the table. And I was like, listen, like this could go really right or this could go really, really wrong. And she's like, I don't care, I trust you. And I was like, I don't know if I trust me. But I thought about it. And I said, okay, well, what am I actually looking at? And that was the first aha moment for me. If I understood why people were saying no, maybe I could understand why and how it could be possible. So the reason I figured out that they were telling me no was because it was multiple across the surface. And you'll notice that now even more so that I'm saying it, that it's not a fits exclusive thing, right? I've got fits ones that need it and fits sixes that don't. Mm-hmm. They've got different, tones across the lip, whether that's from sun damage, like it happens for multitudes of reasons. But if you're trying to take a multi-colored canvas and make it a uniform color, you need to understand where you're putting that pigment. That pigment is located below the melanin production. It's just the science of it. We know that melanin is produced in the basal cell layer. We know we tattoo in the papillary layer in skin. In the lamina, in the lips, it's the lamina, different, not texture, but different pieces of the body, right? You've got an organ and you have a membrane. But we know that both of them are below. So I need to make something look uniform by putting color underneath it. So coverage isn't really what's happening, right? Because it's not lipstick, it's not going across like a cloth.
Right.
It's coming from inside. It has to be able to have enough vibrancy and contrast that it gives the optical illusion of a more uniform tone. Okay, so I know I need to do that. And now I know that I need to understand what color I have in the skin, or the lip tissue in this case, in order to be able to pick something that's going to give me that vibrancy and that's going to give me that contrast. And that's how I built my first color mix. I looked at her lip and I said, okay, well, what color is making up her lip color? It's some ratio between the red and the yellow pheomelanin that she's producing. Black isn't really a color. It has no temperature. It's just value. So I can deal with that one separately. And I understood what this was. When I understood what the red and yellow were doing and where that sat on that huge spectrum of possibilities, is it more yellow? Is it more red? I mean, it's not just three colors. It's not amber, orange, and vermilion. There's a whole line in between that. So you get cooler reds on the other side. But once I could understand where that was, I could pick the base. I could pick what was going to be vibrant enough in the undertone that the lip was producing. Okay, now I needed the coverage to deal with the value level. All right, we got low, medium, and high. So we're going to throw it in 3 buckets because trying to do it otherwise was getting a little too much for my brain. And I decided, okay, if it was a very high value or a light value, I could use a little bit more opacity because the white ink wasn't going to cause too much graying. Mm-hmm. If they were very low, I needed it to be more vibrant, not white, not muted down, because white and black make gray, and we know what titanium does. Right. It's higher in the surface, gives that chalky look. They don't want, if they want the chalky look, they know how to get it. Right. But most of my clients didn't want a chalky look. They wanted something supernatural. And then somebody in the middle, I could kind of play with it. I could give them a little bit of titanium, a little bit of opacity, maybe from other places without getting that chalky look. And by doing that, I was able to kind of put it into a formula, mathematical formula that became an algorithm that built the color theory that you've taken with me. And the pigment set was a result of that algorithm. So I took it the whole way because it didn't exist. I couldn't just grab tattoo inks because I didn't know you can find out what's in them by looking at the label, but I didn't know the percentages. I didn't really understand like how much white you were using. It's not just a color in a bottle. It was a real formula. And I think that that's what gave me the results. And I think that that's the courage I stood on because I didn't just arbitrarily guess and throw spaghetti at the wall to see what stuck. I really analyzed it and broke it down and said, how can I make this formulaic so that way if it's busted, I know what to fix. And if it's not busted, I can replicate it and then try it again and tweak it for the client. And that's the color side of it. The technique side of it's a whole other ballgame. Yeah. And, you're dealing with very sensitive melanin response. They've already got high amounts of it. Yep. And you're aggravating it. You put a pimple on your face, it goes black. Mine does. I get marks. Like this one right here on my face. So if that's going to take 6 weeks to regulate, and I'm about to run a needle over your lips for the better part of an hour and a half, it's going to take 14 to 18 weeks before your melanin's back down to its normal state of production, or we can see color again. If you don't pierce properly that basal layer, and you're just running your needle in where the melanin is made, you're killing all those melanocytes, and you get hypopigmentation. Right. And so that white comes from. If you are uniform, and this happened to me, and I freaked out, because her whole lip went this color at about week 3, after she had been this color in week 2. And I was like, yeah, what did I do? And Steve actually said to me, sweetheart, there's no way that you uniformly did that. Like, it's got to be something from the body. And that triggered the aha moment. And I started making phone calls to the Mayo Clinic, to Columbia, to CHOP, like any hospital and teaching hospital. I could get my hands on dental schools. And nobody could tell me. Nobody had a histology diagram of what was happening in the lip. And I was like, okay, now I'm going to have to do it for myself. So I called that client up and he said, listen, I need you to do me a huge favor. You need to take a picture of this every single day. And she did. And from that, I was really able to see not only her melanin ramp up, but also her melanin retract back down.
Right.
And that clear view of everything turning this meant that I had uniformly gone through that basal layer, tattooed nice and evenly in that lamina, but I didn't break the melanocytes. I didn't kill them. When you get areas that are like this and areas that are like this, you're doing more damage than if you were to go straight through. So that gave me another bit of an aha. And I said, okay, I have to learn how to tattoo this differently. I've got thicker texture here for the most part. Sometimes I don't, but more than likely the texture is a little stiffer, a little thicker. So me tattooing with a single needle at, really, very gentle fluttering across the surface was doing that melanocyte killing. So I had to change the technique and say, okay, how do I just sit in skin, work the puddle, work the puddle, work the puddle. Like, and that's so counterintuitive for how things were being taught and learned. Pixels, 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 pixels. Yeah. I'm like puddles, 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 puddles.
Yes. Yeah. I've always been puddles, puddles, puddles.
I know. And that's where I was just getting there. And that's where I actually got it from. So I remember watching one of your very early YouTube videos, I believe. And you were literally on an angle and you had this big wet puddle and you were just and I was watching the suction. You could see in your puddle all those little air bubbles. Yeah. And I was like, that's it. That's it. That's what it needs to be. It's like shaving on a body tattoo. And the light went on, and I was like, okay, I don't need to be confined by the rules somebody said, the steps somebody said. I can be my own artist, and I can take these little pillars of tidbits that are coming from a tattoo tradition that is centuries old. You don't see a tattoo artist doing this.
No. And in body tattooing, I tattooed a lot of Black clients. And they heal great. But that we're using big 22 mags, we're using, circular movements, we're not in the skin all that long. So, but I think you were able to figure out the formula because of your engineering background. Like, I mean, and being an engineer, isn't that problem solving? Engineers solve problems. And so that's the way you approached, tattooing dark lips and getting successful healed results.
It's my safe space.
Yeah.
Like the process is my safe space. The science is my safe space. And if I can understand that, I feel like I can kind of try or do anything as long as I'm not standing on somebody else's opinion. I'm standing on something that I have formulaically understood to some degree.
Right.
And does that work for everybody? No. Does that make me everybody's cup of tea? Definitely not. Because there's people out there who just want to know what to use, and that's it. That's where the thought process stops for them. And that's where it goes back to my teaching. Like, no, I'm not going to throw it up online for $49. Like, I'm not doing it. It's too irresponsible. I can't feel what you're doing. I can't say no and stop that. Like, there's a process to that. In my color theory class, I mean, you took it, it's 8 hours long, and we're in that chapter for 30 days. Like, it's a huge topic. I mean, you think that some swatch is going to do it for you, you're crazy. I'm sorry, you're crazy.
I know.
Not with this.
No, we both do color theory classes. I took yours. Yeah. They're both really good. Both your classes on lips and brows are really, really good. But we have very, very different teaching styles. You
absolutely.
Yeah, you teach, like when you teach and you speak, I see the engineer in you. Do you know? 100%, Carla. We teach very different. But we're teaching how to get to the same beautiful with great. It does say my battery's running low, Olivia, but but isn't it plugged in?
Is the plug plugged in the wall? I've done that. I've plugged it into like the extension cord, and then the extension cord's not plugged into the wall.
Yeah, will you just check behind the banner and make sure, is that plugged? No, that is plugged in. Hang on, guys.
Yeah, take your time.
So this is my battery cord.
I'm gonna get a puzzle book.
It says it's on. Oh, God. Yeah, but then I have to unplug that. You see what I mean?
Mm.
And what if I unplug that? What will happen?
Well, let's try it and see if you're going to charge your laptop, if that's the issue.
So I'm going to unplug this. Hang on 1 minute, Carla.
Sure. Take your time.
Click close, and then bring up the,
Did I go close view?
yeah.
What do I do?
What does it say?
Do I exit
Well,
those?
yeah.
No, that didn't fix it. It's like, is my battery, is my, like, okay, it's on.
That's on?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Sure.
She'll edit this out.
I'm not waiting.
But then I don't have your image.
Okay, let's see. No, it's got to be here. Now it's back in. So,
Something
yeah.
with that outlet.
I know. Okay, you, I want to go full screen. How do I go full? Oh, right here. Full screen. Man. How's that?
I got it.
Because I don't have a video.
Why would we not have her video? It doesn't make sense.
Because you've always done like that.
Yeah.
Did you pin yourself on accident?
No.
Let me try to do an HDMI cable.
We'll edit this out.
No worries.
Could be a cable. Sometimes cables go right in the middle of a.
My favorite little piece of equipment.
Yeah, because that's her HDM for her image, right? Is that the same as that? Nope, that's got to stay right there. It's got to stay there.
You don't have an HDMI on your laptop, do you?
Mm-mm. Did it pull her up? Okay, let's try this. What if I do that and I do
Okay, I have her now. But your laptop charging.
I think my laptop's charging.
Okay.
Let me check. Let me just hang on. Yes, we got it. We did it.
Yay, we got it. We did it.
All right, got a little bit of editing to do, Olivia. I do hear a little bit of static though. Do you hear it?
No.
As long as you don't hear
No.
it, it's not going to record. I don't care if I hear it or not. It don't bother me. Do you hear static on your end? Okay.
No, but I'm wondering if you're hearing the fan coming off of my jump.
That's as long as Olivia don't hear it. Okay, perfect. Okay, where were we? Oh,
We were talking about
yeah,
formulaic discovery.
yeah. So we teach really different. You more from, I see the engineer in you, and
Yep.
where I teach more, I don't know what you try to call my teaching, my style.
I think it's accessible.
Accessible.
I think that you teach. You're a teacher, and I mean that with the best intention. Like, there are people who can break things down into the soundbite, into the aha moment, and I feel like you do that extremely well. In order for my students to generally get that click, that aha moment,
Yeah.
it's when they understand when they understand the science I'm showing them. And sometimes that takes exercises and practice to get them to the same place. But I'm not very good at, my strong point is not breaking it down into bite-sized, digestible, tiny little pieces all the time.
I gotcha.
I'm trying to articulate that, but that's what I noticed the difference. Like, you are giving them invaluable information that is going to absolutely carry them from point A to point B. You do it in a way where it's very clear and understood. For me, I need like metaphors and like other types of teaching tools that help get people where I'm thinking.
Right.
But I see in pictures, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to take that picture and give it to somebody else, right? The picture in my head. I'm pretty good at making them charts and graphs, but it's still a picture in my head.
But it's
And
your
getting
charts
that
and
into
graphs,
words.
though, that I really liked on your course,
Yeah.
and broke things down. There was a couple
Yeah.
places where I had to really pay attention. Yeah, because you're really science heavy.
Yeah.
And like I said, I just saw the engineer in you. But it's brilliant. Your class is brilliant. You know, mine is science-based, theory-based, experience-based. You bring experience into your class as well. And I think just like there's different, people have different ways of learning and absorbing. There are some that are going to, you know, maybe lean into the way you teach more and grasp that easier. And vice versa. Some may lean into the way I teach a little bit more. I always tell everybody to take both. I really do.
Yeah, I do too.
I tell everybody to take both. I don't really have a course on lips. My course is all brows. I don't know how I would teach lips because mine has always just been from the gut. Like, you know, early on I was correcting purple and blue lips. And I always knew how to tattoo a lip that had a strong blue undertone. They're all either fits 1 through 4s, but not considered ethnic, but strong blues, strong purples. And I just always knew how to do that, Carla. I just always knew how to do that and correct blue and purple, that I don't really know how to teach. I know how to teach it, but the section would be this big. It would be a small little, couple little paragraphs. Do you know what I mean? Because to me,
because when I first started teaching it, I couldn't articulate it either.
Yeah.
And I would just say to my students, like, here's just a whole list of the stuff I use. And, you know, this is the reason Embody and Enhance were born. I wanted to boil that down. And instead of giving people a list that was 3 pages long of potential pigments, I was like, okay, I can make all these colors. Like, there's got to be a simpler way. Like, I can't constantly do this. But I know exactly what you're talking about. That's how I did it. And then I was, okay, but wait a minute. You know, we have the tingle effect in the skin, but we really have it in the lips because the lips are more translucent.
Yeah.
So it's the color you're putting in plus the color you're using is going to equal the field result, especially when you want to go more translucent with the pigment coverage. So it's like there was all of these moving parts and pieces, and it was like shooting buckshot at 4 feet. Like, it was just a mess. And I was like, okay, there has to be another way. And the only way I could do it and feel good about it was to do it through the science, through the why. It was the only way, like, ethically, I felt safe launching this out onto the industry, you know, and now what I've seen it turn into gives me nightmares. And that's just me being 100% real.
Well, that's because don't you feel a lot of people, not everyone, of course, I'm not lumping the entire industry into this statement, but you see a lot of artists, there's a lot of people in this industry that want to skip proper training. They want to, I mean, come on, they do. I mean, even like with LI Pigments, they get
this is my client. What color do I use?
Yeah.
It's not a.
Yeah, they want to, you know, it took me 5 years studying the face, pigments, to really wrap my brain around color theory. And then it took me a couple of more years to wrap my brain around how to say it and break it down in a way I could teach somebody it. It's not nothing. Greatness takes time. A great class takes time. You know, great results take time, and everybody wants to. Yes, and I see a lot of people wanting to skip the long, frustrating learning curve journey to greatness.
I had somebody ask me the other day. So I also teach color confidence. So I have the big color theory class, which is all the science, right? And then color confidence, I have literally just started taking all my case studies and grouping them into like and going over 12 of them in 2 hours, because it's about what you get in 2 hours, right? There's a time constraint. And it's a lot less expensive. It's $140, give or take, $149, right? And it's 2 hours of going through cases, because a lot of people learn by seeing what somebody else has done. It helps them understand the science better. So those who've taken the sciencey part of my color theory are like, wow, okay, now I see all of this clicking. So it's nice to get those visuals. But somebody literally asked me what the difference was between that $149 webinar and coming to my in-person class.
Did you answer them? Did you respond? Remember,
my response was, it's not even on the same planet.
Remember the saying, not everyone deserves a response.
No, not everybody deserves a response. I was like, hey, and I wish that was only one person.
Oh, you've had multiple people ask you that.
Oh, yeah. What's the difference? This is a $49 neutralization course I found online. What's the difference between that and your class? What? A lot, probably. But, like, yeah, I think that people it's hard to get clients these days. It's not as easy as it was 10 years ago at a line around the block.
No.
Whether there's that you want to have the debate about oversaturation or this, that, and the other thing, but point blank, it's scary to make this choice now, because there are way more underqualified, poorly skilled artists than there are properly qualified, highly skilled artists.
Yes.
It's a 90-10 situation, and the 90 is the math.
Do you think that has something to do with, I talk about the economy of, we have the world economy, and then the economy, just here in the US and individual countries, but then there's the economy of the PMU industry, which a lot of people are really hurting really, really bad. Do you think that has a lot to do with it? Is all the people that flooded the industry under false pretenses, like I feel PMU.
Brows, lips, and liner in 3 days. I had a girl sitting in here an hour ago. She wanted to do some apprentice stuff. She just took brows, lips, and liner, paid thousands of dollars for. She can't shade like that.
I just think it just makes me.
It
really upsets me. I think
it burns me to my core.
Yeah.
But let me put you on the hot seat for a second. You weren't in this industry for 25 years. You never even heard of a tattoo. You never even seen a tattoo machine. Would you get this done?
No.
Not in a million years.
No. Mm-mm. Yeah.
That's where this is.
Yeah.
That's where this is.
Yeah.
That's right there. There's the problem. We no longer have desire. And we don't have desire because the bad work speaks louder than the good work. There's more bad work out there than good work. People don't know the difference. You know, in the absence of water, people will drink the sand, not because they're thirsty, but because they don't know the difference. There's this huge gap. The internet has it so wrong. And people are using the wrong pieces of the internet to find places to go. Like, let's go to Groupon, let's chat GPT it.
Right. Right.
You go on and all of these ads are, you know, they're being farmed. So you have, you know, 34, 50, 100 clients to this particular marketing agency. They're using a stock image and they're putting all of that budget behind it, and then they're selling it at 50% off when the artists themselves are starting at $400. So the pricing on average now sits at $125.
Wow.
Talented work isn't going to cost you that, right?
Right.
So you've got this huge difference. They can't see the value because it's called the same thing. Let's just use lip blush. Well, this lip blush is $140 and this lip blush is $700. I'll get this one. It's cheaper. It's your face. And you can't get on the internet and on your social media and just roast it, because what you do is draw attention to the negativity.
Right.
Like, this is why you don't want to trust blah, blah, blah. You know, it's your face. And then they're like, you know what, why am I even doing this? And they don't. They don't. You now have an amazing array. The makeup community caught up, and they caught up fast. They said, oh, shoot, y'all want to tattoo this on? How about stains and stuff like that that'll last a week?
Right. Right.
For $20, and you can change your color. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why am I taking this risk?
Yeah. And you won't end up with like an off-colored eyebrow, like a blue or, you know, whatever, red eyebrow, you know, in a
Or,
year.
you know, you go to your esthetician with this new fangly blah, 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 and forgot that you get your brows tattooed. Now they're, you know, whatever color.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, there's a lot of that is what's going on. And we are drowning in underqualified. And
Yeah.
I mean, you've got questions in these chat groups. So like, this is my client on 3 days. Is this normal?
Oh, I know. I know.
What?
Well, I think a lot of people are using, you know, even like good trainers, like their classes are not filling up anymore, things like that, because you have so many people using Chat GPT to get an answer to a procedure or permanent makeup question. They're using Chat GPT to educate themselves. Yeah.
And I looked up Reclaim, you know, we have the line Reclaim with Carla, and I looked it up on ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT to tell me a little bit about it. You know what it said? It said it was old pigment from the cup that we took out and rebottled.
Oh my God. Oh, I'm scared to like GPT, OMG, Pigments. I'm gonna have to now.
Yeah, now you have to. But they think it's thinking.
Yeah.
It doesn't think.
Yeah.
And it can't determine right from wrong. It's just taking and regurgitating, and it's following your voice.
Right.
So it feels familiar. And I don't care what you think you trained it to do. It is a very big spell checker. It cannot put the client's colors. It cannot tell you what needle to use. It cannot tell you what machine to use. It cannot tell you what speed to run at. It cannot tell you any of these things. And it's just contributing to this massive problem. Even the responses in the chat groups are being responded to with ChatGPT because people are forgetting to take out the top and the bottom.
Yeah. Well, you know, Carla, it even goes further than that. And, you know, we go to a lot of conferences.
Yeah, we do.
And sometimes.
Pay to play.
Yes.
Can I throw everybody under the bus right now?
Yeah. You know, what's happening to some of these conferences? You know, it used to be they would pay, conferences would give a little salary. If not, they would at least pay your airfare, put you up in a hotel, and you weren't allowed to
They're
like,
paying you for your time and your intellectual property. You're working.
and you're educating. Every time I have stepped on a stage, I have never tried to sell a product, sell LI, sell a class. I'm educating. I want to educate these people in front of me. I'm so passionate about it. But some of these conferences, it's like, yeah, I mean, they invite you and then they want to send you an invoice. You got to pay them.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
wait a minute. You want me to pay to get there? You want me to pay to work for 3-4 days, attend all these events, meet you? How many darn pictures are we taking? Hugs and kisses, questions we're answering. I mean, I'm happy to do it. I want to be there, but I'm taking the time away from my studio, which does bring me income. Like there's, and the other one's making money, and then they want to cry wolf, or they have these competitions that are timed face tattooing.
yeah.
That you pay for your trophy.
It's crazy. Is it offended? Is it offensive to me when they ask me to pay?
Offensive.
It's so, I take it personally. It's so offensive to me.
I got yelled at when I said that to one of the organizers. I was like, okay, so my standard fee is X, Y, and Z. I'm happy to waive my fee, in lieu of a class, and as long as my fee is met, everything over the top we split 50. Like I gave him my whole spiel, my rider. Literally wrote back, "You're disgusting and don't understand our philosophy."
Oh, wow. So, okay, let's go a little deeper. Do you think this is the paying? People can pay now to be on stage at a big conference. Do you think this is why we're seeing a lot of misinformation on stage? That some of the lectures I have to walk out of because it's so disturbing.
It's so wrong and so bad, and it doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
It's because they just paid for their spot.
Yeah.
They weren't chosen by the industry, and I don't mean to say like, okay, we're the chosen but
chosen ones.
There's a reason you're asking me to speak, and I'm hoping it's for the integrity of my information, the quality of what I can bring. I think that if we went back to that model, we would elevate the quality of this real fast.
I'm hoping we go back to that model. Do you think we'll head back to that model? You think that model's gone, or they'll always, maybe?
I think this whole thing needs to crash and burn first, unfortunately. I really do, because it's so ingrained and it's so hard to rewind it. It's like trying to put the bullet back in the gun. It's already out.
It's already out. I understand. I understand what you're saying.
But I do think that if people stopped participating in that, it also sheds so much light on so many other things. But the more that people say no, right? Because they hit the top tier, right? And we all say no. We've got, this is our price to do that. So then they move on and they go to group B, and maybe half of group B says, okay, they'll pay. And then they're moving over to group C, and then they still don't have enough. So now they're in the D listers. It's like movies, right? It's just rolling down the thing. But it's very difficult to get somebody who's just starting out to say no to something like that. Either they don't know better, or they're really just trying to make a name for themselves.
Right.
So they're like, okay, well, I'll pay for this one.
Right.
But now it's trickled into social media. People are buying hundreds of thousands of followers.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, but it's obvious. Do they think it's not obvious?
It's not obvious.
It's not obvious.
To you.
It's obvious to me.
Me too. But do you know how many people, like, I'll get here in class and they're like, oh, I follow this person, blah, 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 and they're so great, and yada, yada, and they have this many followers, and I'm like, give me that. And I open it up and I'm like, this is all bots. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
It's not obvious.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's
just like people are shocked to hear that half of the stage speakers that they saw paid to be there.
Yes.
Or they dropped huge donations or sponsorships or gave a shit ton of product. Like there was something transactional there.
Yes. Yeah.
They're shocked. They're like, what? Just like they're shocked when they're like, oh, I took your training at blah 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 conference. sweetheart, you didn't take my training. You listened to a 45-minute infomercial.
Right.
Like, I can give good information. Of course I do. You know, I always love to bring quality, but they give me 45 minutes.
I know.
They do.
It breaks my
45 minutes.
heart. It's one of the things
Me
I'm
too.
really, really sad about, because I think conferences, they played a really integral part of my early learning years.
You do.
You
Well,
know.
you and I were learning before social media.
Yeah. My
Even
networking.
conferences are having trouble.
Yeah. It brought me out of my shell and allowed me to meet other
How you
artists.
met other artists.
Yes.
Collaboration.
There was real
I mean, all
value
that.
there. Real value
What-
there.
What's the value? What's the value? What can't you get on social media? What can't you do in a Zoom call?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right.
So these conferences are struggling to put it on because they need the income, and it's not just coming from ticket sales. Because their tickets used to be, to conferences used to be much higher too.
Right.
Just like tickets to classes
Used to be much higher. Right.
And everything is getting dumbed down because the cost to do the procedures are getting dumbed down because of the quality of the work. So everything's coming this way. And that's dangerous. That's where you start to lose
Well, I think
quality.
there's become this standard too of what the venue needs to look like. High class. You need to provide high class VIP experiences. It's
Everybody's in Gucci.
everybody. Yeah, I love me my Gucci shoes. I do.
know you like Gucci.
But I do buy them used. Well, not used on Poshmark. Second, you know.
Secondhand. You love that.
I do.
Permanent makeup got all like, here's my designer bag with my designer puppies. You
Yeah.
know, it's like,
But what if we went back to hotels that were average?
I'd go.
They're not
Yeah.
high class, but they're not like dirty
Yeah,
and
the Hilton
nasty.
Express.
They're average. And what if we didn't do like the VIP experiences anymore? What if we went back to old school conferences? You could keep the ticket prices affordable. To put on the conference wouldn't cost that much. Don't pay anybody, and I don't know. Like I would pay for my own flight, my own hotel, to go and speak.
If the quality was there, I would.
If the quality,
Absolutely.
100%.
100%.
That's,
That's it though. But you know what? Or you shorten your speakers down to, I don't know, 5 really high quality
per day.
people and per day, instead of give them a longer spot and make it a real educational experience.
Do you know I always ask for a longer
and
spot?
Yeah, me too. And split your earnings with your educators.
Yeah.
In some way.
Yeah.
So that way, maybe you're not covering the hotel costs, but make them a part of the sales process as well. And not, here's your affiliate link.
No.
Who's tracking that?
I
crap?
know.
Like,
No, they'll offer me 30 minutes. And I'm like, no, I need at least 60. And then that's going to be difficult even at 60 minutes. So I will not do
2
less.
hours.
Yeah. No, I won't do less than 60 minutes. I can't really educate them in less than 60 minutes. I can't.
You lose 15 just saying hello.
Yeah, your opener and your closer, and that leaves you a good 45 minutes to give them the meat, really great education. You pour your heart out,
How long does it take you to make the presentations? Like my one for PMU World took me 3 months to build. And I built all that from scratch.
The
same thing with the one the year before.
Yes. And I start 4 months out. I start 4 months out. And I put
all of that thought.
Yes.
And love and attention and time.
Yes.
And it's just being, I hate to say, but we're being lumped in with those that paid, who brought that information. So here we are elevating the wrong. There's like an ethical point now where I'm like, it's giving me the ick to even go.
Yeah.
Because I'm giving validity to what's wrong.
I know. It's a battle for me because I feel what you feel, what you just said. I feel that. And then I think about the hundreds of people that bought the plane tickets, bought the conference ticket, paid for their hotel. I think about them. I think about them. I had Mary Jane Hockey. She's like a legend to me.
Yep.
And she was a mentor to me many years ago. And she said that. She goes, don't think about all the stuff around the comments. You think about the people in those chairs. That's who you think about, Teryn. That's all that matters is those attendees in those chairs. And so I think about them, and you want to give them good education. You want their money to go to good education.
How do they sort it? Okay, because let's just say you get up and you say, I don't know, the grass is green. The next person gets up and says the grass is blue. And the person who says the grass is blue doesn't know their ass from their elbow. So it's like,
yeah.
And then you're going, well, I listened to your presentation this morning, and then so-and-so got up on stage and said this. What do you think about that? And then now you're dealing with the drama.
I know. What always gets me the most is when someone gets up and talks about a dark brown, and they'll say it's warm. Yeah, this is the dark brown, the darkest brown in our line, and it's warm. And I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Dark browns are not warm. Not warm. Heavy sigh. I'm like, not warm. Not warm. You'd have to add so much warmth to it, then you lose.
Technically, black and white don't have temperature. The color is what gives it the temperature, but you have so much carbon or iron oxide, black versus gray. You have so much of that in here that
it's
you
cool.
don't have to,
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't, right.
You can't
see the forest through the trees.
No, I just see so many people.
And adding one drop of orange is like pissing in the ocean.
Yeah. Well, it's just.
What's wrong with the pigment? My client, nothing's wrong with the pigment.
Well, yes.
No, you didn't change the rule when you changed the tool.
Well, you're dealing with that now. I've been dealing with it 13 years. How do you like it? How do you like having your name on pigment bottles, and they're blaming your pigments for those bad healed results? Or let me ask you, Carla, have you had this one? Your pigments don't work. What do you mean they don't work?
Yeah.
They don't implant. What do you mean they don't implant? Your pigments don't work. They don't implant. Have you had that one yet?
Yeah.
So I want to know, what does Carla from Sculpted say to that? Your pigments don't work. They don't implant. So they don't work. I want a refund.
This is what I
I'm going to start saying what you say.
Okay, this is what I say. This is a professional tool.
Do you say it without laughing?
Yes. This is a professional tool, which means that you need to have the professional acumen to use it. And if you would like, I might be able to help you discern some differences if you could tell me which other tool, which other pigment you have been using, because if you are using, let's just say you go from a heavy glycerin style pigment to something like Embody and Enhance, it's going to be very different.
Yeah.
How you use it. So that's usually what I say to them. I say, if you change the tool, you change the rules. So you have to understand what makes this tool, or mine, different from what you've been using, and what you might need to change in order for this one to work for you the way you desire it to. But just because it's in a bottle and it's called pigment does not mean it behaves the same way.
I know.
So you're going to have to learn that there are nuances and differences to that, and that's usually enough for them to go, oh.
Yeah, I don't think that, I'm doing a learning curve series. The first one was on machines. The second one was on needles, and that just launched. And the third one's on pigments. Because going from an iron oxide to an organic, there is a learning curve. You got different needles, different angles.
You guys have to differently high glycerin base to, I don't know. Like Embody and Enhance is REACH compliant. And as you know, because you're in pigments, like that means we had to pull out the alcohol, we pulled out the witch hazel, like all the things that are not compliant are now not in that liquid package. Which makes that liquid package very different. Now, because the bottle says Luxe, people often confuse it with PermaBlend Luxe. My formula is completely different than anything in the Luxe range. So Luxe just means REACH compliant. So that's already confusing them. Like there's chemistry in these bottles. It's not just it's not water and powder, right? I mean,
Right.
you know, from Li Aqua, OMG, like you've got different formulas across the board. And I don't know why people don't realize that that's going to change how something behaves. So, you know, high alcohol content pigments with high witch hazel, they're gonna dry down super fast.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy when people are like that it oxidizes. Well, pigment doesn't oxidize. If it was oxidizing, you're changing color in the window. Like it's absorbing. That alcohol and that witch hazel, it dries up quickly. So you're gonna see your color implantation almost at the pixel, right? That
Right.
first dot, it's gonna be very visible. When you're working with Embody and Enhance, or like an inorganic, like OMG, which I love, by the way, the iron oxides help you see it a little bit quicker because they're a lot more dense, but it still takes a minute for that color to really show up. And when I tell people that, I'm like, listen, tap through the bottom lip, understand where you're at, what you're doing, and let it just sit for a second. And it'll show. And then they're like, oh my God, look at how much is in there. Right. Because it doesn't dry as quickly because I can't use witch hazel and alcohol in the formula. So, you know, they want something that makes their job have training wheels.
Yeah.
And this goes back to the other conversation. Like, not all things are training wheel ready.
Right.
And, you know, Embody and Enhance may not be training wheel ready as far as its formula is concerned, because it doesn't dry and it doesn't absorb as quick.
I don't think anything in this industry is training wheel ready. I don't think any pigment, any needle, anything is training wheel ready. I really, really, really don't.
I don't either.
I think what we
But
do
they're
is
trying.
Yeah, well, you know, they're giving up.
Operated one-click.
I know. They're giving up too quick. You know, they're signing up for cheap classes. A lot of people have really dropped the prices of their classes, and they're just giving up too quick. And sometimes they just don't know what they don't know, Carla. They've bought into what's being sold to them. Sometimes I don't even know if it's really the newbie's fault. I have a soft spot in my heart for newbies, and I really try to mentor them. And I have a lot of grace and a lot of patience with them, because I like to get to the story, the backstory on where did you learn that. And oftentimes when you hear the backstory on why they're using this or doing that, it almost always goes back to what they were taught by that trainer.
100%. And
so, you know, it's what's being sold.
Well, my trainer taught me that.
Yes.
You know, the girl that I just had today, you know, she was very eager to apprentice somewhere. She did it the right way. You know, she showed up, she shows up, right? Like, I will spend all the time in the world with somebody like that. Somebody who has good expectations, is a hard worker, and is willing to take a correction. Because let's face it, a lot of people are. But I was like, okay, show me your latex. She showed me her latex. And I was like, this doesn't look right. I'm like, what, you know, they give you a machine with clashes again. She whips out this Helix. And I was like, well, that's part of your problem right there. Like, you're tattooing with a kid's toy.
Yeah.
If this is
that's what's given out.
It's got an adjustable stroke on it. No, it doesn't, sweetheart.
Yeah, I know.
That's not how stroke works. What it's really adjusting is the mechanical hit, or the programmed hit in this case, because this one doesn't even have a spring inside. But like, no.
But trainers don't even understand stroke settings. No. A lot of them, they don't even understand. You know, that's how we ended up with, you know, a bunch of orange brows back when microblading first started, right? And LI pigments got, you know, blamed because a lot of people were using LI back then, but everybody was slamming, you know, a ton of orange. They were half orange, half target color. And they're wondering why, you know, in 6 months, their brows are turning beet orange. Well, because your orange is 50% ratio to, or 1/5 of your pigment.
Ratio.
Yeah.
That's the word ratio.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean? It's 1 to 2. It's a ratio.
I know. I have one more question for you. I have one more question for you. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. Okay, so right now the industry's in this trend, has been for quite some time. Small needles, low saturation, no pain, no bleeding, no swelling, no signs, trauma, nothing. It should be Instagrammable, freshly done, look beautiful, freshly done. And if there is bleeding, if there's any swelling, if one of your eyeliners is puffy, anything, you are causing fibrosis, scarring to the skin. You need to go back to training. I've done thousands of eyeliners and I've never had any swelling or bleeding. What I want to know, what do you think about that? That's what's being taught in our industry right now, currently. And newbies, of course, are getting swollen eyeliners, sometimes. Lips, right? I just did an eyeliner at PMU World. They saw me tattoo her with a black iron oxide, how easy it flew into the skin. And they saw some puffiness, but nothing alarming. I happen not to get any major swelling on this client, but I could have if that's what her skin wanted to do. But so just what are your thoughts on people out there teaching that, training that, and then attacking artists that post with swelling? Yeah.
They got to be like, why would you go to a trainer who, you don't want, their work to look like your work? First of all, you better be looking at my field work, not my fresh work.
Right.
That should be why you're coming to me. That's first of all. I kiss too hard, my lips swell up. So, hello. It's a face tattoo pumpkin. It's not a spa day. And I'm going to do what I need to do to get the ink in. Now, can I throw a shit ton of epinephrine on there and tetracaine and benzocaine, because lidocaine doesn't really keep the swelling down, but the others do. Of course, now, granted, that's in my scope of licensing, because that one just, goes right over everybody's head. What numbing are you using? And they just grab whatever the heck they feel like it and forget to check with their regulatory board.
Right.
Like, okay, I digress. All right, so if I put a shit ton of that on top of it and I want to tattoo for 4 hours, I could probably get no swelling, 0. And no real bleeding, because I've basically constricted the vascular system when they go home and that wears off.
Right.
Boom. And now they're in shock. And their healing is way more aggressive because you've burned off the top part of the tissue, and now it's going to heal. And you've seen like all that irritation on the eyebrow, like what's going on. Like it's you give it a chemical burn. So it's like, do I want to get a healed result that I'm absolutely ecstatic with? Because that's what they're going to live with. Or do I want the fresh work that shows no signs of the trauma that I need to inflict to do my job well? And do I want them, I tell my clients all the time, like, leave me on the table maybe hour and a half active tattooing. Like after that, your skin's going to catch. Like, yes. The tissue's going to start lymphing, and it's not going to be like, you're going to get really sensitive even from the wiping. Like an hour and a half is what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to break it into, you go and come for sessions here. There's not one and done. So for me, I think that's asinine. I think that trauma is an inevitable part of piercing a hole in someone's face with a needle.
Yeah.
Do I think that there's aggressive trauma? Yes. Like there's like a fine line between normal trauma and you tore the skin up.
Yeah, and you can spot that. You probably can too.
Right.
Because you've got we're trained to have that eye, like when it's been overworked and aggressive
or just
trauma.
The machine setting's not right for hand speed, or the needle's not the right choice for the skin. But working with a ton of telling somebody who have a no swelling technique.
It is crazy.
Or no pain.
A no pain technique.
It's I tell my clients all the time, and they're like, is this gonna hurt? I'm like, just sign up for a
But I
face
think it's these things that are hurting the industry.
Yeah, I agree.
It's these things that are hurting the industry.
She came to me. She was here literally a year to the day. Her healed results are unreal. She never came back for a second session. She moved away. She now moved back. She came in again yesterday. Her first session, she didn't swell at all. Neutralizations usually get a little bit more swelling, right? Thicker tissue,
right?
Denser tissue. I got to work with higher voltage, a little more aggressiveness in my technique. Got to go over it a little bit more potentially. But she swelled a good amount. And I was like, wow, you're really puffy today. And I said to her, I said, you happen to be on your cycle? And she's like, yeah, it just started. Well, there it is. Like, she didn't swell as much the first time, and she swelled more this time. Like, her biochemistry has got something to do with this too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get bit by a mosquito. It looks like somebody inserted like a softball in my arm.
Right.
So it's like everybody's anti-inflammatory process is slightly different, or who knows what's contributing to it. But yeah, I agree. I think it's super damaging. I think knocking an artist for doing their job the way that they do their job is also crazy.
Yeah.
I think that everybody's going to have a different way. You don't know what, I'm dealing with. I don't get as much swelling on my light lip clients, but my neutralization clients can get pretty puffy.
Yeah.
Especially when I have to work that membrane area because I damaged it from smoking or something like that. Those are really sensitive spots. Same thing with eyeliners. Like, do I get a lot of swelling with lash enhancements? No, not so much.
No.
But I'm doing a 3 millimeter, 4 millimeter thick wing. Yeah.
Especially
on a textured on the lid.
Yeah, especially if they want black. Like, I built like a hell of a clientele for solid black eyeliner, right?
Yep.
Like, I would say most of my eyeliners, they want solid black, crisp tops, medium width.
Yep.
And I've just built one hell of a career in clientele on that look because I mastered it.
You are the queen of working with larger configuration.
I have to, right? Because
I agree, especially
because they want black. They want to heal with black, and they don't want to come back 2 or 3 times.
They need it packed.
I need to pack that black in, so I need me.
You're not doing that with a single pixel.
No.
But if you take a look at your eyeliner, right? You just saw it, right? And you're like, wow, I want to do that. And the only thing you're really proficient with is a single needle. And you try to do that with that.
You can't.
You can't.
You can't. You'll never reach that saturation.
Especially a 7 millimeter taper.
Yeah.
Because somebody said they love, don't get me wrong, I love Stellar cartridges. They're great. I love the OMG cartridges. You know how much I love the OMG cartridges. Like, I can keep them. You can't go anywhere without them. I literally find them in my suitcases. I find them in my jacket.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it.
But these are very long, extra long tapers, super sharp. But because I put them in a post that I like these needles, they bought those needles, and that's what they're potentially using on, eyeliners or mature brows because it's a single needle and a 30, not realizing that there's such a field of differences, even within the needle steel, the taper, this. So I think that anytime somebody tells you that it's this way and it's the only way to be right, you better really think about that real fast and say to yourself, that doesn't sound right, because nobody should be saying always or never for anything.
Right.
And there's many ways to get there, but there are, as you said, there are definitely better choices for certain things.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not working with a mature skin. I don't love a single needle. I won't. I like working on mature skin with more needles. I like having that resistance.
The flexibility, right?
Yeah.
They're just, because they're soldered lower, they just flex when they hit the skin. Yeah. So, which is better for fragile skin, older
fragile skin.
Exactly.
But now you give that to somebody who's only learned on a single needle, maybe only is more of a newbie. Now they've got to manage multiple points of contact.
Yes, and they have to apply more hand pressure.
More damage,
right?
Or up the machine a little bit.
They have to make these adjustments. They have to make adjustments, right?
And when they don't make those adjustments, they just shred the shit out of it, because somebody in Facebook said use a 5-round shader to do a lash enhancement, and they're ripping out all the eyelashes.
Right. Yeah, I know.
So it's like, I think, you know what I think the industry is missing a lot of? Real education on the tool, just the tool,
Yeah.
just a variety of tools, because we all, I hate to say it like this, but we all get to our favorites, right? So, or like potentially we have things that we've made, right? Our babies, right? You know, you've got LI and, you know, the OMG pigments and the OMG needles, like these are your babies. Of course, it's what you made what you love, right?
Mhm.
That's what I did, at least with Embody and Enhance. And I did that with our machines, which I don't sell anymore because it got to be too much of a shipping nightmare, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it was, but nobody just gets it all and says, this is what this has, this is what this does, this is what this has. Like, that's what we're missing. I got an idea.
Yeah. Okay.
I got it. But like, it's not like the review, like this is good and this is bad, but what are the differences and why are they different and what's the mechanics behind it and where's the, and not just from a singular standpoint, because that singular standpoint may have been the one that you created. And I think that there's the gap. And I think that there's a big gap in the education. To be fair, as a trainer, it is very difficult to get somebody, all right, because let's face it, most of the people who think that they need an advanced class really need to go back to foundations again. And they want to come for 3 days. It's what's affordable to them, whether that's the price of the class, the price of the travel, the time away from home, kids, fur babies, whatever you have it. In order for me to do the full breakdown on machines, on needles, on pigments, I need 3 days.
Yeah.
And we haven't even
Tattooed
dealt
somebody.
with what's going wrong with the technique. How many models? How much information do you want? It's a 7-hour day. You wanted an hour for lunch, like, and you want to be done by 6 o'clock because you want to go out with the person you brought. So
exactly.
I really need a month. So if we could transition some of those theoreticals that can be theoretical, machines, you almost kind of need to be hands-on even with those to some degree. But the nuts and bolts of how a machine works goes over people's heads. I had somebody take the jack that goes into the power supply and try to put it in the wall.
Oh yeah, we've had that. We've had that.
And the RCA into the back of the plastic cartridge.
Yeah, we've had that.
So I think we need to kind of give people the foundations of what's a stroke,
and you know what? They're out there, but people just don't take them. They just don't take them.
They don't realize how critical it is.
No, it's kind of what when I closed down the studios, it's kind of what I wanted to really focus on was the fundamentals, the machine, the needle,
pigments,
hand movements, pigments, you know, the fundamentals, and reach those that are, 1 to 3 years in, and reach them.
Got people who come 10 years in and they're like, they can't shave.
Yeah.
Or they can't line. And I'm like, or they're the habitual class taker. I get a lot of those too. And okay, nothing wrong with it. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you want to learn. But what's the one thing you're not doing? And I can tell you, you're not practicing. Like, when was the last time you put latex underneath you? I practice every time I'm in the studio. I practice before my clients. There's no way I'm going to tattoo somebody with a cold hand.
Yeah.
At least that's me personally.
No, I agree.
Like, it's not happening. And there's so much of that. And they're just using what they're given, not understanding what it is, what the differences are, why it would work, why it wouldn't work. These are things that you and I didn't skirt. I was an apprentice. Yeah. And I set up trays and broke down trays for months before anybody even explained to me what was on it.
Yeah. You don't see that very often nowadays. And I don't think that was the norm back then either, Carla. When I came into the industry 25 years ago, there were training problems and issues. Just like there's training and problem issues today, just over the last 25 years, there's consistently and constantly been training and education issues. They've just morphed and changed, what the issues are. Right. And it is because we're unregulated, but
And that's never going to change.
yeah,
So it's
so
like, but you know, I think the big question everybody should just put in the back of their head is that if it takes a year to go through aesthetics or cosmetology school and about $20,000, that's about what it's going to take you a year.
you just nailed it.
And probably
You
about
just
20,000.
nailed it. I was just having a conversation at PMU World Live, and she couldn't understand. She was coming from hairdressing school, and she herself, I mean, this is a newbie. She herself was like, look, it cost me, I think it cost her $21,000.
Yep.
Hairdressing school. She goes, I'm cutting hair. I'm dyeing hair. Like, I'm not going to like take someone's eyeball out.
Back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She goes, and that was 12 months. She goes, but
yeah.
I took my permanent makeup, and it was like, all I could find was 3-day courses. They're like 3-day classes.
My fundamentals program is 6 months.
Yes.
Minimum.
So
It's 6 months minimum. And it literally says on my website, if you are looking to click through for a certificate, just goodbye. Leave now. I'll give you a minute. It literally says it.
I love it.
I'm not, and I think I go on to say, like, I'm not going to contribute to the mass decline of a career that gave me a life.
No, like, no, not going to contribute.
I won't do it.
No, and
I'll
I've
take
decided,
quality, not
yeah,
quantity.
and I've decided I'm not
I
going
would rather teach one student who does unbelievably excellent work for the rest of my career than teach thousands.
100%.
Who can't execute.
No, you can't. And
Not worth it.
It's not worth it. And I've decided I'm not going to be mad at it anymore.
No, I'm not mad at it.
No, but I used to be. I'm not mad, but I used to be really super frustrated.
Seriously, home. I have a 9-year-old. I'm sad mad. Can I come into the out now?
I used to get super frustrated, but it's like, but you can't, you know, you can only do so much. You know, that was one of the reasons I started the podcast is, you know, you can only do so much. So I use this platform, you know, just to raise awareness, to have these great conversations with great artists like you that have really high standards and really big dream for the industry and want good things for people and the industry as a whole. And that's all I can do. That's all we can do. That's all we can do.
When clients were crying over their transformations.
Yeah.
So thrilled. And I miss that.
Yeah.
I miss that. And I miss that for people who genuinely come into this industry, not to turn the quick buck, because we have those too, the ones who just sold the dream. But the ones who really are here to alter lives in a positive way.
Yeah.
And to help. And I miss it. I really miss it.
I know.
I think that's where my passion comes from. It's not because I'm angry with it. It's because I miss it. It's like it's sad in my heart about it.
Yeah, it's because you miss it. And I do acknowledge that there's really good people coming into this industry that want that. They want what you and I wanted. They're as passionate as you and I. And so people like you and I, Shay, all the really great trainers need to be here. Like we need to be here for those artists that come in for the right reasons and want to change lives.
My door is always open.
Yeah, I love that.
I'm accessible. You know, it's just come at it with the proper intentions. Like, I had a girl come in a job interview with her mother in tow because she couldn't handle the stress of the job interview.
Oh my God.
So, sweetheart, you're going to tattoo people's faces. I think we need to work on that. I was like, if you want to work on that with me, I'm here. My mom was out to dinner in our hometown, small hometown. I know you know what that's all about.
Yep.
And the waitress just kept ogling her. And finally, my mom said something because my mom is, I'm a small version of my mother, so you can imagine how outgoing she is. She said, do we know each other? she said, you know, but you look like this person that I really want to learn from, and why I'm here waiting tables, because I want to take her class. And she's like, okay, well, I gotta know, who is it? And she said, well, and she pulled up my Instagram.
Oh, how cool is that?
That's my daughter. So of course my mother called me, well, what are you doing? And you know, you need to teach this girl. And I said, sure, she could come. I said, but she came, she sat, she did a full, like, you know, shadow day. And when she left here, she said, okay, now I know exactly what I want to do with my life. And I'm going to go and, you know, do what I got to do to, you know, come and start classes with you. You know, so that's, you know, you do see it. And I will absolutely be there every step of the way for people who are willing to put in the work.
Well, that's my 3 questions. Like, why do you want to do this? That was my number 1.
Yep.
What are you willing to sacrifice to spend 5 days a week practicing and learning? And number 3 is, do you cry?
Yep.
Do you cry a lot? Do you cry easy? Because this shit is not easy. And if you come into this program, it's my job to make you a really good artist. And so I'm going to be on you. And I'm not an asshole, but some people just cry really super easy.
I agree. I have a sign on my door. This is why I'm laughing. A sign on my bathroom door back there, because there's the door before you get into the bathroom. It's like a little room with a sink, and then there's like the toilet in there as well, which has its own door. And the door that goes into the little room, I hang the sign on there for during training that says, I'm crying. So they just
I know.
put the sign up.
Yeah.
And it's not because I'm an asshole, and it's not because, but I'm not easy. And unfortunately,
well, they're not paying us a lot of money for us to be easy and tell them what they want to hear, you know. And I always,
that's what they've only been exposed to.
Yeah, no, I know. And I do think that I correct. I do think I'm very graceful and very professional when I have to correct them, or, you know.
My teacher looked at me and went, I'm going to swear, and went, what the fuck is this? What you make? This bullshit.
Well, that's how we were raised. I mean, my mentor was Margie Grimm. Yeah. Can you imagine?
Margie, who stood up at the conference that I was in, and was like, I would have called it yellow orange and yellow red, but
yeah.
I love Margie.
She was my mentor for 13 years. I would go down to San Jose.
I called her up when I started working with Dark Lips, and I wanted to and I started to like really write out the program and like what it looked like. And I called Margie up and I said, hey Margie, I just want you to put your eyes on this and just let me know what you think. She called me back a day later, and the first words out of her mouth were, you're fucking insane. Don't do it. And hung up the phone on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, she's.
And then she saw me at this conference months later talking about it, and she was like, yeah.
She's a hard ass. When I launched my color theory course online, years and years, like 10 years, I think it's been running. You know, it used to be like a 9-10 hour live webinar. I wanted her to do it with me, right? And her response was, "Are you out of your fucking mind? No one's going to sit for 8 hours and listen to you talk about goddamn color theory. No one." And it made me doubt myself. Like, I'm like, oh my God, Kat, you know, what if no one shows up? I bought this WebEx back in the day. Right. You know, I had it all planned. And, you know, and it turns out she couldn't have been more wrong, you know, but I almost canceled it. But, oh no, she was really hard on me. She called me when I would go down and train with her. She trained me on lips. She told me I was procedure moody. Yeah. Procedure moody. And she was right. You know, she was right. I had to get my emotions in check, and I had to mature. Really quickly. But that was old school training, old school mentorship. And her intention was always to make you better than she was. You know, her intentions were always
That's what I say to my
good.
Students when they come in. I'm like, listen, I'm only hard on you because I need you to be.
Yeah.
And if that's not your vibe, and you don't like that right now, I need you to tell me, and I will refund you, and you can go on your way, because I'm not going to put you in a space where you are miserable. And you're miserable because you can't get around the fact that I am not going to sugarcoat that.
Right.
Is this somebody's face? You can do real damage and real harm. I mean, I teach eyeliner one-on-one, and I mean, my hands are like over it, you know. But Like lips are hard enough. Like one mistake, a brow is, it's hard.
Yeah,
I mean, one
yeah.
mistake, it's a wrap.
Yeah, no,
It's not
lips
like a
are
body
not
tattoo
forgiving.
where like you get a blowout over here and you're like, oh yeah, I still like it, or the line's a little wiggly.
Yeah,
like,
we'll just shade that a little darker and cover up that might.
Yeah, everything's got noticed. But like, you got just 1 millimeter longer, and then on the other side, everybody's having a heart attack. Or well, my eyeliner is not the same level. Well, your eyes aren't the same level.
I know. Tattooing, I know. Tattooing was always so much easier for me. Yeah, because they don't inspect it. They don't inspect it and nitpick it. They just get in the mirror, look, and go, "Oh, that tat's so cool," and then you never hear from them again. Right, but on the face, you're right. They get in the mirror, they inspect every little right. So it's very different. Very different.
The stakes are so much higher. I don't get grateful clients right off the chair because their lips are puffy. Yeah. So the first words out of their mouth, my lips are swollen. Second thing out of their mouth, they love the color. Both completely irrelevant. One, your swelling is going away, so don't worry about that. And two, the color's going to shift over the next 12 weeks. So I literally just sit back and say, I'm done. You can get up, go look in the mirror, and go have a giggle because your lips are swollen. I know you like the color because you picked that out. I've now learned how to deal with that. But as a newer artist, to have to deal with that stress, I can see why it's so enticing to work with potentially a single needle and have no swelling ever and no pain.
Yeah, because they don't
it's very difficult to say to your client, this is gonna hurt.
Yeah.
And
well, that comes with time and comes with experience. Having that confidence to own the room and own your procedures, right? Because I use iron oxides. I love iron oxides for eyebrows. I love organics for lips, both for eyeliner, but predominantly I'm iron oxide. If I use a carbon base,
eyeliner is a hybrid.
I moved into a hybrid.
My lip stuff's organic, but my brows work. My brows, to be fair, I make my own brown using Embody and Enhance, and I love it because I can really control the carbon look. So I am making and mixing my own brown. Now, for whatever reason, I'm on a deserted island and I need to use a pre-made, I'm grabbing an organic because it's not, I shouldn't use the word more balanced, but because I'm not controlling the ratio, I know that iron oxide is going to sit differently in the skin.
It's going to sit differently.
It makes it a little bit easier.
And the black's going to fade out.
That I'm not that I'm not in complete control of what I'm putting together.
So with iron oxides, with iron oxides, I have to explain to them your brows are going to look really dark and solid.
Yeah.
When we're done, but in 7 days. They're going to be like 25% lighter. They're going to be airy. They're going to be powdery and soft. That's just iron oxides. So that sentence got taken and translated across all pigments. So now they heard what you just said, and then they grabbed, Permablend. Yeah.
And, did it in forest brown and expected that same thing to happen. They looked for the same level of saturation.
Yeah.
They tattooed it that dark, and then I want to know why you can see the client's eyebrows from Kuala Lumpur.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Learning curve. Well, Carla from Sculpted. I'm so.
You have no idea.
Yeah, I want to just thank you so much. I know you're a busy woman. You're a mom. You're a lovey to Stevie G, and I'm sure he. Requires a lot of attention.
I wouldn't know. He's my
Oh, good. Stevie's gone. I've known Stevie for a long time. I've adored him ever since I met him. But thank you for taking the time to come on here. Yeah.
Thank you for having me. This is like a full circle moment for me.
Yeah, it is.
And I mean that.
It is for me too. It is for me too. I have a lot of respect for you. Like I said in the beginning, you're one of my favorite artists in the whole wide world. And the more we see each other, the more we know each other. You're becoming one of my favorite humans in the whole wide world. And hopefully, I don't think this is the end of us meeting in this sort of way. You know,
I
yeah.
would love to it. I would love it so much. There's so much potential there.
No, there is. And I think it would be fantastic. And I think it would be received really, really, really well. Really, really well. Especially, I love how different our teaching styles are. And I think the blend of that would be so powerful and so empowering and so interesting. I really, really do. We've talked about it. Well, we've talked about it a lot. We both just have busy schedules. But one of these days, sooner than later, Carla, we're going to collab on something. And we're going to give the industry a gift, a real, true gift of education.
I would love that.
No, we are. That's on my bucket list before I retire. You know, before I retire. This is
not allowed to retire.
Well, I'm not retiring. I do have a lot of things on my bucket list, so I'm not retiring anytime soon. But anyway, I want to thank you.
I would love it.
All right.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes,
Really
I will.
appreciate
I'm
it.
going to say goodbye to you and all my listeners. They thank you.
Thank you guys for listening.
Yes.
Listen to all of them. This is so good.
It's so good. It's so good. And I will. I'll message you later.
Please.
All right. Thank you, Carla. Have a wonderful day.
I said hello.
I will.
Will do.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, honey. Okay, you guys, that was Carla. And what a fabulous conversation. And I know that ran a little long. There's no way in hell I met my hour deadline. I did not, did I, Olivia? 2 hours? 2 hours. So I set a record with Carla. But if I'm going to go 2 hours, I'm going 2 hours with Carla, 100%. So just before we go, a couple announcements. Black Friday is on. Black Friday is on. So visit the Girlz Ink store, girlzink.com. Lots of things on sale. Big discounts. Check out our courses, girlzinktraining.com. Sales. So Black Friday is on. And we got Cyber Monday right around the corner. And then new and different things on the store will be discounted and on sale. So there's that. And then very, very exciting, our new OMG product, D-Oil. By now, you should know all about it. I've done a podcast on it. We've been marketing about it. Well, I hate the word marketing. We've been educating you about it, putting lots of information about D-Oil. It's one of those products. It's going to solve a lot of problems, I think. And it's been on pre-order. And the pre-order couldn't have gone more, it couldn't have been more successful. So we really, truly do have a limited amount left due to the pre-order, but it officially launches and goes on sale December 4th. And I know that is a popular marketing, thing to say we're low, but I'm not bullshitting you. We're really super low because of the pre-order. So, D-Oil, pick up a bottle today. All right, you guys, that's the truth, that's the tea, and that is Tatter-a-Fact for today. Thank you for hanging out with me and Carla. Until next time, stay in the pursuit of excellence and happiness.